Grand Rising Loungers. I hope everybody is doing as great as I am today. Listen, we are not going to be very long. I've got a lot I've got to do today. So I've got a big weekend coming up with lots of things coming up for the Easter holiday. We're actually doing a lot of community service this weekend. So I will be out in these streets and handing out various things regarding Easter. So I'm not going to be long. I definitely got a lot of work to do today. So let's go ahead and get into this stuff because I'm telling y'all, I have been very, very disturbed with what I've been seeing from Jaguar Wright the past couple of days and what has been happening between her and Nikki. I've got some choice words in regards to Nikki and some things I want to say to her. And also to Goomba as well. So we're definitely going to get into all of this morning. I just think that there's a lot of people that's talking about it. But there's a few things that I just want to add my 2 cents on because after hearing all of this, I'll tell you, I am quite disturbed, especially knowing that, these people have children themselves, and where this stuff is going is just crazy. A few of us have talked about these things and how crazy this will get if, certain things are not quelled. And here we are, right? So we're going to go ahead and get right into these topics this morning. Make sure that you guys do hit the like button on the way in. And let's get right into this hot topic. Grand Rising Samba Queen, I appreciate you for being in the building, and everybody that's in the clouds. Again, make sure that you guys are hitting the like button or the dislike. It doesn't matter, okay? As long as you guys are interacting with the show. Now, let's go ahead and get into this craziness going on with Jaguar, right? And with Nikki. And like I said, I have a few things to say about this, okay? Now, number one, I am not going to play the audio between Jag and what she left on Goomba's voicemail. I think there's plenty of that going around. I think it's demonic, and I don't want to play that on my channel. I couldn't even listen to the whole thing. It was just too much to be sitting there just listening to that, knowing that she's talking about children, okay? And here's the thing with that. Jag claims to be an S abuse survivor, right? And claims that this has happened to her as a child. So, there's a lot of healing that needs to take place in there, clearly. But at the end of the day, mental illness and all this other stuff, is not the blame for this kind of stuff. Some people are just evil, Some people just have an evil mind. Their mind is dark. Their mind is in a space where, there's just no coming back from. There are some people that are just like that. It is unfortunate. And here's the thing with that. There's some people out here who have spent quite a bit of time praying over her and, asking God for this and asking God for that and getting these kind of results. And in those cases, and I'm not really a Bible thumper per se, but there are messages in all of these books. And one of the messages is, if you pray over someone and you give them prayer or whatever, if you're giving somebody care, it could be anything. If you're giving someone charity or whatever the case may be, and it's rejected and you see something opposite of what, you're giving or something opposite of what you're doing, you dust yourself off, you dust off your feet there and you leave them where they are and you keep on moving, you keep it moving, right? You kind of take your hands off of that person and you just continue to go on, you move on, because that energy transfers, that kind of energy can transfer. This is where, the spirit will protect you from things like that by cleansing yourself and by getting yourself cleansed from those kinds of things. Because again, that type of energy can transfer. So you don't want to keep praying for somebody going through something like that. You don't want to keep giving and giving and giving and putting your energy into a person like this or a person doing stuff like that, because it will drain you. It will suck you dry. Okay. So that is one of the things I wanted to say to the audience, such as even myself. When you're watching this stuff and when you're getting into this, I've even heard content creators become very emotional over this, and I understand because it's an emotional thing, right? And that's why I wanted to start off with that, because it's so emotional and because it's so heavy, all the things that we're hearing. I think that it's best to just cleanse yourself from it at times, right? You don't have to listen to everything. You don't have to hear everything. You don't have to play everything. You can hear it and then move on, and then get yourself spiritually cleansed so that you're not dealing with the emotions around it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we don't know these people, right? We don't know Goomba. We don't know Jaguar for real. We don't know Legina. We don't know Nikki. And we don't know Nikki's children, But it is, heart-wrenching to hear the things that we heard. And at some point, we've got to break free and move forward so that it's not affecting our personal life, and it's not affecting us spiritually, and it's not affecting us mentally and emotionally. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there. Shout out to all the content creators who are talking about this. I've heard, many of sisters and brothers pray for this woman. I've heard many of people, just kind of step up, step in, and, have kind words for both of these women. And I agree. I think that they both need that. But I think also we need to step back and allow the universe to do what it is doing. Okay. And there's a reason I'm saying that too, because ultimately, the order of things is what orders the universe. Okay. So if Jag is a married woman to this man, regardless of any of this other stuff, and we're going to get into, a little bit of her mental illness and a little bit of the marriage and all that stuff too in just a second. But if Jag is married to this man, the order of the universe in this sense is they are a married couple. Okay. So there will be natural reactions to a woman whose husband is openly sleeping with another woman. Okay. Whether they're in a relationship or not, the appearance of that from any woman who is married and has a husband, and women react to things in different ways, and they react in marriage in different ways. But I mean, let's be honest, okay? A woman reacting in this way is not something unheard of, right? A woman reacting this way to her husband sleeping openly with another woman is not unheard of. Now, that's number one. That's one part of this whole situation. I do also believe there was some controlling going on from Jag on her end, right? Now, that's a whole separate story. But let's stay on the fact that these two are married and Nikki is not married to this man, and she is openly admitting to sleeping with him. She's not saying that they're together. She's not saying that, she's in love or anything, but she's sleeping with him. Let's keep that in mind, okay? That has got to be pretty torturous to somebody who not only has and suffers from mental illness, right? And already is dealing with all the stuff that she's dealing with. But then, she knows that her husband is the one that is telling this woman very intimate things about her, telling and sharing with this woman, sexual, intimacies between them, videotapes, even down to intimate things, to the fact that she wears diapers and she wears tampons during her period and she's bleeding on her pants. These are things that he would have had to tell Nikki, okay? And then Nikki is telling the world, okay? So I get it. I'm not saying that Jag, and I got some choice words for all of that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, I'm looking at this from a human standpoint, right? I'm looking at this from a woman's point of view. And I'm like, for God's sake, you got another woman who is sleeping with this woman's husband that is telling the public these very vile things about me. And I am just supposed to just, sit back like Mary Poppins and act like this doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not upset. Like, of course she's upset. Of course she's upset. What part of this did not, and I think there is a part of the audience, of some audience members, not everyone, not even half, but I do think there's a part of this audience that kind of likes the torture and kind of likes seeing her suffer, you know, and seeing her hurt over all this. And, just because they're miserable people, you know, and miserable people like to see other people miserable. Okay, so I think that's part of this that's fueling this too. But the biggest thing here with Jag and with Goomba, and that glares, the most, is the fact that like I said, these two are still married. Okay. And clearly, regardless of any of this other stuff, that is the glaring issue. Okay. They are still married. So Nikki acting like she is this high and mighty woman, and she's got this, which, by the way, shout out to All About the Trees, who actually had her on the show a couple days ago and was a couple of times and was able to thoroughly interview this woman. And, there was a few things that came out that were some discrepancies on Nikki's part. One of them being, hey, she owns her house. The house is paid for. And then the other one being, oh, I got this mortgage on the house. Well, two things can be true. She could actually have, paid off the house and then took a second mortgage out on the house. Okay. That is possible. That is something that homeowners do. It's one of the beauties of being a homeowner, is that you can do things like that, right? If you need to, and for different reasons. But, so that could be possible. That's not necessarily a discrepancy, but there were some other things that Nikki was saying that bothered me. Okay. One of the things that bothered me the most about Nikki was this. It was the fact that she knew that there was so much drama that was surrounding this man, okay, and his wife. And then she turns around. Not only does she bring him into her home, put him out after things got real heated, and then bring him back again, okay, as if the children didn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like, forget about all this other stuff. The children absolutely matter. And it's the fact that she is on social media. She's all over Instagram, on Twitter, all over, other places, on YouTube, on other people's channels, larger platforms, and discussing this matter and literally torturing this woman with information, telling the public this, telling the public that, just being messy boots, right? And for what? Like, as a woman, right? Even if she is sleeping with him, which I can't condone at all. I can't condone somebody sleeping with somebody's husband. I can't condone that. But I'm just saying, even if she is doing that, right? Here's the thing. How do you conduct yourself in these matters? Is it okay to just walk around and, start, pointing the finger all in the woman's face and I'm sleeping with your man. Yeah. Like where do women do stuff like that? Where does I don't know. I can't call any woman that's sleeping with another woman's husband classy anyway, right? But where does your class come in? Where does your womanness, kick in this sense, where you're, actually pointing fingers at another woman's husband? And then you expect no consequences from this, sis. Like, you lucky that chick didn't come blow your car up, come blow your house up. Like, you are so lucky. Like, nothing has happened at this point because of the energy that you are putting out in the universe. Okay. Like, you got to be very careful with the energy that you put out, not only the energy that you attract, but the energy that you release as well. Okay. Because what you release is literally what you attract. Okay. So if you're out here attracting negativity most of the time, it's probably because you're being negative somewhere. You got to be honest with that. I've had to be honest with that, even with myself. I've wondered why different negative things are coming at once. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing? What is happening? I need to examine me. You know what I mean? Because that is how you cleanse. That's how you actually cleanse what's going on around you. So, because once you put positive and put light out, that is all that reflects. Okay. And that's all that can come. Anything else, is it kind of stop short before you, because it can't come forward if you're pushing positive. So I really do think that, she needs to take a look at herself and take a look in the mirror, at this situation. And clearly she's still not taking that much responsibility. I mean, yeah, I heard that she did put Goomba out again, right? That he had to leave. I didn't watch King World like that to know, but I did hear that she put Goomba out again, and that he's not, around right now. God knows where he is, but it doesn't matter. For her, it shouldn't matter. You know what I mean? Her kids should matter. There's no way in hell I'm about to leave no busted ass, pooky ass dude around my house, just to fix a couple of screws. But I got a drill in this bitch. You understand? I got an electric drill in this. So I will fix anything in here. I will have my kids, my sons, like another nigga. Like you gotta leave though. You can't stay with me though. I'm not about to put my family and stuff in no situation like that over no mediocre dick. Like, it ain't that serious. Like, I'm just saying. I don't understand. Okay, especially if both of them are calling this man mediocre. I don't get, what the whole, thing is. I don't understand. Okay, so here's the thing. But even if it was golden, it still doesn't matter. No dick, no nothing is that ever important, right? That it comes before the safety of your family. It comes before the safety of your children. Now, do I think Jag and the Black Panthers are going to do anything? Absolutely not. Number one, the Black Panthers, okay, respect to the fucking flag. The Black Panthers are a reputable group. Okay, now I've heard a couple of people and content creators that I actually like talk trash about the Black Panthers. If you don't know about the Black Panthers, you should educate yourself. They actually created what we now know as the WIC program, okay, and other programs for women and children, and for the Black community. These were all programs that were meant to protect and serve our community, as multiple groups multiple groups do and take after in their name today, such as a group that I'm in, right? And other groups that we're in that do various things as the Black Panthers have done and as they still continue to do to this day. Okay, so all this stuff about crime and all this, listen, y'all need to hear out, some of the things that you've been taught, so that you don't understand some of the groups that are around that are here to protect and serve our communities, okay? And to make sure that our people are good, because the government is not going to do it. But yet you can see what the government did to the WIC program, okay? When it would have been able to stay in our community and stay in our hands, it would be a much better program for our people. But because they tried to take it over, the WIC program is where it is today. And it's actually depleted. There's a lot of funds that no longer go to the WIC program because, our community is not actually, holding on to it and taking care of it. So that's something about the Black Panthers. They would never, ever do anything to intentionally, as a group, hurt any Black people. As a matter of fact, that is something that would be completely against their bylaws and completely against the things that they do. And that is for most of those types of groups. Those are things that, are completely against the community. So no, the Black Panthers would not come out and do anything of such nature to children, do anything of such nature to mothers, or especially Black families at all, or white families either. but particularly Black families. Okay. And I'm disgusted that Jag would say anything like that about anybody in rags and anybody in the community who would support and protect our people. I'm very disgusted by that. I felt disrespected by that because we wear these colors for a reason, right? We do these things for a reason, and it's to protect our people. It's to make sure our people are good. And anybody, who has heard this and is doing the same type of work felt the same disgust that I felt, because no, that's not something that happens. This is not a fucking gang, okay? And even if you want to call it that in the culture form, it's still not the same as the CNN and NBC wants you to think. Okay, so absolutely not. I was really disgusted by that, and I don't appreciate her doing that. But it is what it is. Allegedly, Mr. Newton's son, who is the one of the founders of the Black Panthers, who was killed by the police. His son is looking to do an interview because he has heard about this, and he wants to talk about the Black Panthers and what the Black Panthers do, how the what they do now, and how they're still a movement and how they are not by themselves out here at all. And there's many of us out here that are doing things like this, and we wish we could be on the level of the Black Panthers. But it is what it is. But Black people need to educate themselves on the resources that you have in your own communities, and the things that we already have in place to get things popping for us and to make sure that we are protected as a whole and as a community. These are things that, we need to know, and stop listening to these kinds of weirdos who talk, just talk trash and don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, shout out to those who are aware and are talking about this fully. But either way, I got off in a little bit of a tangent on that because I was just, pretty disgusted with what she was saying about the Black Panthers. But let's go ahead and finish up with this because we actually got to end the show. Ultimately, we know that the Black Panthers are not coming out to do anything to anybody's children. So I don't think that they would be in danger in that sense. I do, however, think that Jag mentally and spiritually is trying to, trying to speak something into existence. And I think that is what the protection needs to come over, is the children and making sure that they're safe, right? And making sure that they're good. One of the things I think that Nikki has finally done is get rid of Goomba again, okay? Which hopefully she keeps him out of her house, okay? Because at the end of the day, no amount of love, no amount of caring for a friend and all that stuff is worth putting your children at risk. It's just not. It's not their fault, right? They don't have nothing to do with any of this stuff. And they are not on social media. They don't know what's going on. They don't even have a clue of what's happening, right? I'm sure they can feel an energy shift because children can feel energy as well. So I'm sure they can feel some type of energy shift from this, but I know that they're not aware of what's happening. But the bottom line is keep this situation away from her kids. That's what she needs to do. That's just the bottom line. And Goomba, as far as he's concerned, this is where I'm at with him. Okay. I want to feel sorry for him, but I'm having a hard time. Okay. Because he's a grown ass man at the end of the day. He's not a child. Nobody's forcing him to be in this situation. And, all this stuff about him, being able to be manipulated into believing that his mother did something to him. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. I believe that he believed that that was a storyline that was going to get him paid. And I believe he ran with everything that he thought was going to get them money. That's what I think. I don't think he ever believed any of this stuff. I don't think he ever agreed that, oh, yeah, this really happened to me. No, I think he went along with those stories because he thought those stories were going to get him and Jag paid, period. Bottom line. And it didn't work out that way. Okay, just like it didn't work out when they weren't paying the rent and they thought that, the checks were going to go ahead and pay for everything that never came through. All the ideas about Philadelphia and everything else and all this stuff, none of that stuff came through. So yeah, now they sitting out here looking dumb. Okay, all the storylines they created from that about his mom, from the car being blown up, all those things that they created, right? None of that stuff paid out. And that is why now he's running around like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, it was all Jag's fault. No, he was a part of it too. He knew exactly what he was doing and exactly what was going on. And I'm not convinced at all, that he wasn't aware. I think that he was willing to throw his own mom and own family under the bus for Jag and to get this alleged, money that they thought they were going to get. But honey, the universe has something different to say. There's some things you do and there's some things you just don't do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, and there's a fine line with that. I think he needs to grow up, I think he needs to realize he's not a kid anymore. He's a grown-ass man, and he needs to handle his responsibilities. That's what I think, right? I think that the gig is up with them, and that's literally what's going on now. And now everybody is just literally dealing with this whole situation, and that's unfortunate for them. What's up, Pills? I appreciate you being in the building. You said salute T Pre. Hope all is well. Everything is great. I appreciate you being in the building, and shout out to you. You said hey to Pills. You said Samba Queen salute. Where you been and when you starting your channel, child? You said hey. You said I've been around and I'm not tough enough to be a content creator in this sector. Y'all are brutal. That's why you gotta go somewhere else. Ain't nobody doing content for this sector anymore anyway, child. You said, hey, Pixie Long Dot. Hey, E Highly Favored. You said Jag told the world Nikki was art by her dad and liked it. She did. She did say that shit. Jag was saying a lot of things and doing a lot of this stuff, I believe, just out of anger. I don't think Jag would do any of this stuff, but it's sickening that she's even thinking of these things, Those are the parts that really got me disgusted with Jag, is that these kinds of things have to be playing out in her mind for her to even repeat it, which is disgusting. That is disgusting. And it speaks volumes about her spirit. It speaks volumes about the darkness within her. Anybody that talks about somebody's sexual abuse and anybody that would threaten that kind of stuff about children or talk about that about children, make fun of it, joke about it, they are sick. Something is wrong with them, to be okay with that kind of stuff. I don't understand that. That's demonic. It really is. You said, hi, Samba. You said, what I don't get is why Jag wants to hold on to this toxic marriage. Got to be something mental going on. She's saying now that she's going to let the marriage go, you know what I mean? But, here's the thing. It's fresh, right? This just happened maybe like a month or two ago. It's not like they broke up, weeks ago or months ago. It's not like they broke up, years ago. This is something that just happened. And it's all playing out on social media every day, right? And then you got this woman that's torturing her with threatening to put out her sex tapes and threatening to do this and threatening to do that, and then telling her business here and there, left and right. Like, Nikki is the one that's doing more of the social media than Goomba's doing, really. Goomba be in the background somewhere. Nikki be the one hopping on the panels and all this stuff. And then here come Goomba, coming up later after she done been on the panel for like an hour or two, spilling all their beans, So, I can understand, mentally why this woman would be invested in this and why she would be so upset. This is her husband, even though he ain't shit, but she ain't shit either, But I'm just saying, you said, LOL, yes, you are tough enough, Samba, but I feel you. Yeah, she's definitely tough enough, but nobody going to keep going back and forth with people in this sector. I'm just saying. You said, I enjoyed that live with you and Mona. Y'all should do more together. You said, side chicks are supposed to hide their presence from wifey. Nikki hustling backwards. Child, okay, I'm just saying, like, you ain't supposed to be seen or heard, honey. Like, if you want to play that role, play your role all the way through. Like, why is you on here telling everybody, showing that I'm here, I'm side chick? Like, girl, if you don't sit down somewhere, you said you already know some, but we need the voice of the queens around here. And you said we need y'all kings too. Sure do. But y'all got to change up y'all shit. Y'all got to stop beefing with everybody because that shit is whack. We all too old for that. But anyway, y'all, listen, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I just wanted to give y'all my quick thoughts on that. As far as this mental illness and premeditation shit, here's the thing. Listen, if something went on and happened now, unfortunately, they probably would look at Jag first, considering all of the voicemails and all of the texts and all the videos and stuff that's going on. They probably would definitely look at Jaguar first, okay, in this situation. But yeah, she's got to stop because this sounds like premeditation, if something was to take place, and unfortunately, here's the thing. There's people out here who would hear some of these messages and would attempt things just because they hear it, right? Or just because they're not sound enough to not act upon things that they hear like that. So that's unfortunate too. Hopefully and prayerfully those things will not happen. We're going to keep those children covered, and we're going to say those things won't happen for those kids. Those things won't happen in this situation to anyone. But that is really, really unfortunate that she's out here thinking that this is okay. But Nikki has got to keep this man away from her house and keep this man away from her family. And she needs to stay out of this situation and stay off social media. I think what she did was called Jag's bluff and didn't realize that Jag would clap back on that ass. I really didn't think that she didn't think she was going to get the attention that she's gotten. She didn't think that, she thought she was just going to talk trash and just make a couple dollars off of this, because they talking about her and stuff. And so she was just going to make a couple dollars. She didn't think it was going to crash and burn like it did, and now everybody's jumping down her throat and she don't know what to do. So she just like, you know what, I'm going to stay off of social media, but she hasn't. She's still on Instagram and everything else. It's just crazy. But either way, guys, I will be still watching, okay, and checking this stuff out. Shout out to All About the Trees. Shout out to everybody else who is definitely talking about this. I heard it on Conscious TV. He was talking about this as well. So make sure that you guys go check out both of them. And guys, I am going to get out of here. I truly appreciate all of you for being in the building. Again, make sure that you guys do hit the like button on the way out. And I will talk to you guys later. And peace, guys. Thank you guys again for watching.